In all my time, I have never, ever, ever experienced a situation where we had an electricity blackout for more than 24 hours. Furthermore, I've never experienced a situation where people froze to death in their homes. However, I was just listening to the Oireachtas there last week, and a certain councillor, a certain TD, brought it to everybody's attention that there was an observation that elderly people are now spending longer and longer in shopping malls and public centres because they no longer can afford to keep their houses warm. And it looks like a growing trend that more and more people have less money to spend when it comes to power and heating. Um, so what do I get from that? This is coming in a time where, for the first time since the Second World War, Europe is facing an energy crisis. However, in the space of 6 months, they have managed to bypass the Russian gas and oil embargo, and we seem to be well on top of things. Thank God. Um, but it still brings to mind, what would a military enthusiast do in a situation like this? And you would, like in most survival type situations, they do talk about having your own portable generator, generating electricity. But when you think about it, right, anybody can afford one of those petrol or diesel generators, and they'll keep you warm and with enough power for a few hours. But you have to keep filling that thing up, and therein you're still depending on oil and gas. Furthermore, you could go into this new the lithium-ion batteries. You charge them less, but they last longer. Personally, I have a hybrid car, and I was talking to my brother about it. He's a mechanic, and he was expressing concern over those lithium-ion batteries because, for my own example, the car that I have, the back seat serves as where the battery is stored, and that battery is huge. It is actually the size of the back seat, and it's up, according to its warranty, it's up to be replaced some early next year. But the logistics of disposing of that battery is the issue, because firstly, you can't just get any old mechanic to come in and take that out. You have to have a qualified mechanic who's got the necessary electrical training to handle that. Furthermore, that qualified mechanic would also have to have specialized PPE or personal protective equipment, including heavy duty insulated boots, a heavy duty insulated apron, headgear, protection gear. And the reason for all of that is the simple fact that those batteries can be volatile. And when those batteries do, they do explode and they go on fire, as we saw back in the summer in London. A couple of electric buses went on fire. Even the fire brigade didn't have the appropriate measures to actually contain a fire like that. They had to literally let it burn out. It was burning so hot. So it is a concern. It's a general concern that's out there that, like, if everybody's using these hybrid cars or these electric cars, there's going to be a very serious logistical issue over the next few years with regards to disposing of lithium ion. What more can I look into in terms of electric generation? Personally, there's grants out there. If you have a house, you can put solar panels onto it. If you want to invest a few grand, you can also get wind turbines, and there's grants available for those people who are interested in doing it. However, the issue there is it's not really a survival situation. Really, what you're doing is you're augmenting the electrical network that's already there. So in other words, if we have a power outage, what that means is you won't be depending on your personal wind turbine or your solar generators to actually provide you with heat and power in the time of the blackout. So where do you go from there? Now, what I would suggest and what I would propose would be to go to your local community centre or a community group and actually discuss or make a proposal to actually invest a few thousand, if not a few 100,000, on proofing one community centre. Or, for example, there's a nice example in Turin, Ahamor, where the water power or the water generating the water scheme are now investing in putting in a power farm beside their pump station, so that even in the event of a blackout, the pump house is able to function and pump water to everybody and filter the water as well to everybody as well. So yeah, in terms of electricity generation, I wouldn't, as an individual, I wouldn't spend too much money into it. I would put more of my time and energy into getting the local community to produce something that would suit everybody. And that in that from that I would encourage a community centre to fish for funds to get their centre fully reasonably fully insulated and ready for a blackout if ever it ever came to pass. Furthermore, it's funny how you know we are being encouraged not to burn turf in our personal dwellings. However, it actually sounds like a really nice idea that if you are a community centre out in the countryside and if you've access to turf, it wouldn't take 2 days to bust a hole in a wall, put in a metal chimney, and put a nice range in there, and possibly even run a boiler or something to heat radiators, something like that. So if in the event that the power goes out, it'd be nice. It'd be very handy. It'd look really nice, and I'd imagine there'd be plenty of people who would be happy to keep that fire going all day long. It would certainly bring some life into the place. So that's all I have to say tonight. Take care.